I want to help you sign up more online fitness clients from Instagram. Most coaches, maybe you're one of them, produce amazing content, work really hard, and get good engagement, but they struggle to turn that engagement into clients. I'm going to completely change that in this video. I'm Adam Haley, and I've helped over 1,000 personal trainers leave the gym floor, go fully online, and hit consistent £5,000 plus months. So most fitness coaches just don't have a flow or a process when it comes to their DMs, meaning that they get new followers, they get leads, they get people into the conversation, but without getting a call booked. Go grab something to take some notes on, because I'm going to teach you the exact step-by-step process that I use with my students, which is why they're able to sign up new online fitness clients every single week. Just like a sales call, there needs to be a process to follow and a flow that naturally goes from open to close. So in this case, we're going to use the example of somebody following you and sending a welcome DM through to getting a call booked. I'm going to give you the 30,000 foot overview, and then I'm going to go into each one in a lot more depth step by step. The first part in this entire process is the welcome DM. The second part is the transition that's going to move us into the actual script itself. We're then going to clarify the prospect's goals. From there, we're going to stretch the gap. Next up, we're going to give them some relief, followed by making an offer of them getting on a call with you. And then finally, booking the call. You'll notice that the last 2 points actually have a couple of plus points. This is really important, so make sure you stay tuned, take notes, and pay attention to this bit in particular. All right, so let's jump into step one, which is the welcome DM. So we're going to assume that the open of this conversation is somebody following you and you sliding in with the welcome DM process. Two things that are really important here. Number one, now the thing that's really important here is what I call speed to lead. I've done an entire video on this, just search through my previous videos, but this is in effect you trying to get to the prospect within 10 minutes of them following you. Of course, this isn't always possible, so don't panic, but it's what you want to aim to do. And the reason for this is that the second that they hit that follow button is when their level of intent is going to be at its absolute highest. Every hour that goes by and every day that goes by after that, their level of intent drops and drops and drops. So what we want to try and do is get to them as quickly as possible, thanking them for following us. And the message is going to include something that I call the this or that. So the first thing that you're going to do is, as soon as you notice that somebody new follows you, you're going to open a message sequence with them, and you're going to start with their first name and exclamation mark. So in this case, it could be Adam. The second message you're going to send is going to thank them for following you. So it's then going to be like, Tom here, appreciate the follow. And the third message is the this or that. So this is going to be something like, are you here for the content, or are you wanting to get in shape? In my case, it's, are you here for the content, or are you wanting to land clients and build your coaching business? Quick recap. We want to try and send this welcome message as soon as possible. Second thing is we want to go 3 messages: their name, your name, thanks for the follow, here for the content, or insert goal. Next up is the transition. So if they come back to you and they say, I really want to get in better shape, I really want to drop body fat, I've been following you, I really want to grow some muscle tissue. Basically the goal part, great. You can move straight to the next phase. However, if they say that they're just here for the content, then we need to do the transition. Instead of just double tapping their message saying, no worries, just reach back out if you need my help in future. In my case, if somebody said content to me, I'm going to go, awesome. What sort of content's most useful right now? Lead gen, sales, delivery, systems. At the point in which they come back and they say to you, nutrition, you then say, got it. So what is it you're working towards at the moment? What is it that kind of I could help with maybe from a nutrition point of view? Where we're going with this is, regardless of what they say, whether they tell you they're just there for the content or whether they say that they want the end goal, both times we're going to be able to progress to the next stage of the conversation. And that next stage is their goals. And the message that we would tend to use here is, awesome, got it. So let's fast forward 2 to 4 months from now. If everything went to plan, kind of what would you have achieved in terms of, and then you want to specify a certain metric. So is it a certain weight that they're going to hit? Is it a certain dress size? In my case, I might go in terms of either client numbers or revenue. And in answer to that, they're going to come back to you and go, oh, I'd love it if I managed to get back to a size 10. I'd love it if I managed to drop about 5 or 6 kilos. And this is where we stretch the gap. The whole point of this part is we've now brought them up here and they're thinking ahead of where they want to be in the future. We now need to bring them back down to earth and remind them of their current situation. Step 1 of doing this is to reaffirm their goal to them. So it's to go, awesome, listen, totally on board with you getting that sort of 5-6 kilos off within 3 or 4 months from now. Love it. And then from there, you'll go, quick question. So what do you feel right now is where you could either use the most help getting there, or what's maybe not working? Following on from that, we're going to go question ... And we've got two ways that we could approach this. We either go question. So if you don't mind me asking, maybe what's not going quite as well as it could be right now in order to get you to that goal if you've already been trying? I would use this if you're working with the sort of intermediate market, somebody that's already sort of in shape, somebody that's probably already been around gyms. If we're working with beginners, then I would say, question, where do you feel you'd probably need the most support initially in order to get you there as quickly as possible? And then again, I'd probably give them a couple of prompts and I'd be like, is it going to be sort of like consistency? Is it what training plan to follow? Certain supplements that you might need to take? And just give them a couple of prompts. And at that point, they'll tell you what their problems are. They'll be like, yeah, I think probably initially it's going to be nutrition. I just really struggle with doing it sort of consistently, following the right plan. You know, I've tried intermittent fasting, I've tried this, it's just not really worked out. And here's where we move to stage 5, which is where we give them relief. This is where we're going to use yourself or some of your clients as an example. So once they've told you what their biggest problem is, you're going to come back to them and just say, listen, completely get it. And then either I've been there myself, I actually really struggled with X, and you're going to make them feel better about that and give them relief. Or you're going to say to them, this is actually what we tend to start with all of our clients on. Most people come to us in the exact same position. Or the third option is you actually identify a specific client and you go, do you know what? Actually, I helped one of my clients with this exact thing last week. Sarah first came to me struggling with X and I did Y and now she's achieved Z. And now we get to the good stuff. So we've now sent that relief message. So at this point in the conversation, number 1, we found out where they want to get to. We found out what the goal is. Number 2 is we've stretched the gap. We found out what the problem is that they're facing. Number 3 is we've now given them relief so that they know that you can deal with this and help them through it. Now we get to the good stuff. So at this point, we've now found out what their goal is. We've then found out what the issue or their biggest problem is, and we've given them relief that we're the person that can get them there. The final thing to do is to make an offer and suggest a call with you. When it comes to this message, I recommend leaning in after the relief message, going directly into, here's what I'm thinking. If you're serious about, and then reference their goal, I'm more than happy for us to jump on a quick 15-20 minute call. On this call, we're going to run through where you're at right now, where you're trying to get to, and I'm going to give you a full nutrition audit or a full sleep audit or a full supplement audit or whatever it may be. What this is if you remember, I mentioned these plus signs, we want to incentivize the call. Most coaches wonder why they get ghosted when it comes to booking calls, and it's because the prospect looks at a call as quite intimidating. Whereas if we can position the call as there may be an opportunity for them to work with us, but worst case scenario, even if they don't work with us, they're still going to get something out of the call, that suddenly makes it way more attractive. So when I offer a call to somebody on Instagram, I say, on the call, we're going to run through a full social media audit. That way the person reads that and goes, do you know what, even if I don't work with Adam, at least I'm going to get some insights on what to do on my Instagram account or what's working or where could I improve. And then we come to the second plus point, which again, everybody overlooks. I call this the one-liner. So at this point, we've got message 1, which would be you giving relief, which would be, hey, totally get it. Don't worry. I went through exactly the same. So that's number 1. Number 2 is you're going to suggest the call, which is, here's what I'm thinking. More than happy that we jump on a quick 15-20 minute call if you're serious about this. And on the call, we're going to run through X, Y, Z, and I'm going to give you a full audit. And now the third message is simply, what do you think? It blows my mind how many people miss this message. The reason it's so important is because when somebody opens their DM inbox, it gives you a preview of the last message received. Us humans are driven by curiosity and we hate open loops. So when somebody opens their inbox and it just says, what do you think? They're going to open that. And because of the open loop, they're going to want to close it. So they will want to answer you. If you're not using this message, I promise you, you are fighting with one hand tied behind your back. Now, once they've come back and they've gone, yeah, sounds great, totally up for a call, all you need to do is book them. The first thing we're going to do is drop the link in. The second thing we're going to do once we've dropped the link is say to them, hey, do me a favor. Once you've grabbed a time on the calendar, can you just come back into this chat and let me know what date and time you booked? And then this bit here. I've got a bonus for you. Do not overthink this bit. It does not need to be anything fancy. Any client resource that you currently have within your business, whether it's a cheat sheet, an alcohol guide, an eating out guide, something like that, you're just going to send that to them as a bit of a freebie, bit of value in advance of the call. But again, humans don't like open loops. So when we drop the calendar link where it'll be really easy for them to procrastinate and perhaps not book the call, as soon as they see that message saying, let me know what date and time you've picked, got a bonus for you, their brain goes into, what's the bonus? I want to find out what that is. Let me go book, drop the date and time, and then you're going to drop the resource to them. And this exact flow is why I'm able to book at least 15 calls per week just from Instagram alone. As a quick recap, number 1, as soon as somebody follows you, you're going to try and send a welcome DM to them as soon as possible. possible, ideally within like 10, 15 minutes or less. That welcome DM is going to thank them for following you, and then it's going to ask, are you here for the content or whatever your desired result is? If they mention they're here for the result, then you can go straight to this bit. If they say I'm here for the content, then you just need to go into the transition instead. When it comes to asking them their goals, it's going to be, hey, 2 to 4 months from now, if everything went to plan, where would you be in terms of, and then give them a couple of metrics. Once they've told you what the goal is, we bring them back down to earth by stretching the gap and finding out what their current struggle is right now. At that point, you're going to give them relief and let them know that you've gone through the exact same thing, or that it's really popular amongst your current clients. We are then going to make an offer for you to give up your time on a call for them. But number one is you're going to offer an incentive on the call, which could be disguised as a nutrition audit or a sleep audit or a training audit or something like that. And then the second thing is, once you've sent the message, you're going to send a separate message called the one-liner, which just says, what do you think? ? Now, once they've come back and said, yes, sounds great, would love to jump on a call, you're going to send them your booking link, but you're going to do the really important thing of letting them know that there's a bonus at stake once they've come and told you what the date and time is of their call. If this has been useful, then I've reverse engineered the sales call process as well and presented it in a format identical to this. Go check it out here.